been a great experience here. People are really liking what we've done in the show together, and it was technically not my first time meeting Shahid bhai. I actually met him for the first time when I was studying in FTI back in the day.
Okay.
So I was in Pune. I was just a fresher in the institute, and I was being ragged by my seniors when he was there shooting his film called Kamine.
Yeah.
And then he actually was standing right behind me and witnessing the entire ragging. And that
Right.
is when the first time I went to him and I introduced myself. I said, "Hi, sir, I'm Bhuvan." And he introduced himself very graciously and said that, "Hi, I'm Shahid." I said, "Of course I know. Who doesn't know you?"
Zakir sir fan as well, especially after Farzi, to just see, the relaxed way you did everything. It was just you, and to watch that with Sethu as well, that whole banter, to hear his South Indian Hindi, and then these remarks, these witty one-liners coming forward. It was fun.
मैं तारीफ करना चाहूंगा विजय सेतुपति की कि नॉन हिंदी भाषी होने के बाद he never अटको in any dialogue in anything,
Exactly.
चाहे कैसा भी टूटा फूटा करके उन्होंने बहुत मेहनत की। मतलब ये सामने दिखता है, जैसे मैं कभी जाता हूँ तमिल फिल्म करने, तो तमिल की लाइन बोल देता हूँ तो लोग वहाँ तालियां बजा देते, कहते आपने कैसे बोल ली। मैंने कहा याद करके बोली जा सकती है, मेहनत करके क्या नहीं किया जा सकता।
Jai Viru line in the quote, I think I was the first one to say that in probably one of my previous interviews. And it actually went a little viral and everybody started to quote us like Jai and Viru.
Right.
So I'd like to take some credit for dialogues here.
Welcome to News 18 Showsha. I'm Yatamanyu Narain, and I'm with the amazing cast of Farzi. I got Bhuvan Arora, who played Firoz. I got Zakir Hussain, who played Pawan Gehlot, and I got Regina Cassandra, who played Rekha. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I begin, I got to congratulate every single one of you for delivering such great performances in the show.
Thank you.
And right. So my first question is to Bhuvan. So Bhuvan, your on-screen romance with Shahid Kapoor and Farzi has become the talk of the town, and you two were like modern day. Yeah, and you two were like modern day Jai Viru or Munna Circuit. So I'm curious, prior to Farzi, did you know Shahid Kapoor personally? And if not, then how were you able to achieve that natural sort of bond on screen? Because you guys hit the bullseye.
So
what was that one thing that you absolutely loved about Firoz?
Let me just start by saying that this whole Jai Viru line in the quote, I think I was the first one to say that in probably one of my previous interviews. And it actually went a little viral and everybody started to quote us like Jai and Viru.
Right.
So I'd like to take some credit for dialogues here. But apart from that, yes, it's been a great experience here. People are really liking what we've done in the show together. And it was technically not my first time meeting Shahid bhai. I actually met him for the first time when I was studying in FTI back in the day.
Okay.
So I was in Pune. I was just a fresher in the institute. And I was being ragged by my seniors when he was there shooting his film called Kamine.
Yeah.
And then he actually was standing right behind me and witnessing the entire ragging. And that is when the first time I went to him and I introduced myself. I said, "Hi, sir, I'm Bhuvan." And he introduced himself very graciously and said that, "Hi, I'm Shahid." I said, "Of course I know. Who doesn't know you?"
Right.
So very sweet of him. And then another film that we were supposed to be a part of, which never really happened. Not the film happened, it didn't happen together. So I met Shahid bhai at the trials of that film. But obviously these were like very brief meetings and we didn't really know anything about each other. And initially in the first 4-5 days, I was a little, unsure, and because this really need to come out like great of the chemistry between Sunny and Firoz, because they're thick as teeth. They've been brought up together, so this really needed to translate on screen. So I was a little, unsure and really wanted to meet him, but he was obviously busy and I was shooting for something else, so I barely got time to, interact with him before we got on the set. But I think in the first 3 or 4 days of the shoot, we kind of found the rhythm of the characters, and then we just jammed. And we used to feed off each other, and every day on the set, something new would come up, and we would totally be like, "Ki bhai, just pahunch jate hain. Jo karenge, and the other person just have to feed off the your co-actor."
Right.
And the thing that I really liked about Feroz is the element of innocence that Feroz has.
Right.
I think no matter how bad, see, there's nothing good or bad, white or black. It's a gray shade, right? So no matter what they're doing, which probably might be unethical in terms of law, but you still don't hate these guys. So
Right.
to play a part where you're doing something which is illegal, which is unethical, but you still end up being loved by people and they're rooting up for you. That was something I actually really liked about the character, and I really wanted to connect to that note, and I think somewhere deep down we've been able to achieve that.
Interesting. And my next question is to Regina. Now you've been a part of the OTT universe ever since Rocket Boys, and then you went on to do Shurveer and Janbaz. So each one of them have been very different from one another. So what was it about the world of Farzi that initially attracted you to be a part of it?
Raj and DK. I mean, it starts with them. So I actually was really happy that they reached out to me and asked me to play Rekha.
Right.
I was happy, and Sethu and I have played husband and wife on screen before, so it was an area that I knew what I was getting into, and I mean, I think Raj and DK is basically it. As an actor, I love working with them. As a human being, I really like them.
Right.
I do know them from before as well. We have common friends, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Interesting. And my next question is to Zakir sir. Your back and forth with Vijay, your back and forth banter with Vijay Sethupathi was another thing that was very consistent across each episode.
I just want to clap one more time in front of Zakir sir. I'm saying delightful. Every time you come on screen, it is pure delight.
Right.
I'd like to add to that as well. I would love to add to that, Zakir sir, fan as well, especially after Farzi, to just see, the relaxed way you did everything. It was just you, and to watch that with Sethu as well. That whole banter, to hear his South Indian Hindi, and then these remarks, these witty one-liners coming forward. It was fun.
Right. So I was coming back to that banter thing, and I wanted to know how much of it was a part of the screenplay and how much of it did you guys improv on the floor when the camera started rolling.
तो क्या है कि राज एंड डीके जो है उनको मैं पहले से जानता हूँ. शोर इन द सिटी मैंने उनके साथ एक फिल्म की थी.
हाँ जी.
तो इससे पहले भी कुछ उनका आता रहा, फिर नहीं ये नहीं वो नहीं. तो फिर जब ये फर्जी की बारी आई तो उन्होंने कहा कि इससे पहले एक और सीरीज उनकी मैंने की है, गुलकंदा टेल्स, जो उन्होंने नहीं डायरेक्ट की, किसी और ने की. तो उसके बाद मुझे आता है फोन की ऐसे रोल है, ये है वो. मैं कहा अच्छा ठीक है, करता हूँ. तो उसके बाद तो उन्होंने रोल सुनाया तो मैं कहा ठीक है. फिर वो कई बार क्या होता है कि कॉम्बिनेशंस बनते हैं और आप सेट पे जाते हैं. और बड़ा अच्छा किस्सा ये हुआ कि अब मुझे नहीं मालूम था तब तक कि विजय सेतुपति इतने बड़े स्टार हैं साउथ से.
ओके.
और मैं जब जैसे मैंने सेट पे जाने के लिए दरवाजा खोला वैनिटी का, तो सामने विजय सेतुपति खड़े थे.
ओके.
अपने 2-3 लोगों के साथ. तो उन्होंने मुझसे अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस किया. सर मैं विजय सेतुपति. अरे वाह, वेरी गुड. सर यू डोंट रिमेम्बर, आई मेट यू, आई वर्क विद यू लॉन्ग बैक. ये मुझे कैसे याद नहीं है. तो इस सेट की मैंने एक तमिल फिल्म की थी 2005-06 में.
हाँ.
तो वो हीरो के 4 दोस्तों में से एक थे.
अच्छा.
विजय सेतुपति. एंड सो हम्बल टू हिम, लाइक कि मतलब इतना बड़ा स्टार होने के बाद वो मेरे को ये रिमाइंड करा रहे हैं. और फिर हमने एक बातचीत होते में सीन की रिहर्सल. और फिर एक एज एन एक्टर आपके अंदर एक कीड़ा होता है कि हम कुछ नया कर लें, कुछ कैसे करें, क्या करें. तो बस वही सारी चीजें मिला जुला के हो गई. और मैं तारीफ करना चाहूंगा विजय सेतुपति की कि नॉन हिंदी भाषी होने के बाद ही नेवर अटको इन एनी डायलॉग, इन एनीथिंग, चाहे कैसा भी टूटा करके बहुत मेहनत की. मतलब ये सामने दिखता है. जैसे मैं कभी जाता हूँ तमिल फिल्म करने, तो तमिल की लाइन बोल देता हूँ तो लोग वहाँ तालियां बजा देते, कहते आपने कैसे बोल ली। मैंने कहा याद करके बोली जा सकती है, मेहनत करके क्या नहीं किया जा सकता। तो ये बड़ी अच्छी एक बात हुई कि आप एक अच्छे सुलझे हुए इंसान और एक्टर के साथ काम करते हैं तो एक अच्छा प्रोडक्ट निकल के आता है। राज एंड डी के ऑल्सो दे बिलीव इन लाइक देयर एक्टर्स एंड उनको एक अच्छा टैलेंट है उनमें कि परफॉर्मेंस कैसे निकलवाएं करके उनको आता है। ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो जानते हैं कि एक्टर से परफॉर्मेंस उनको क्या चाहिए।
राइट।
परफॉर्म तो अब जब सारे लोग हैं इसमें, भुवन है, रागिनी है, शाहिद है। शाहिद तो आई नो, शाहिद को मैं पहले से जानता हूँ, बड़ा पोस्टर हमने की थी उनके साथ। तो जब एक्टर्स हैं, अब एक्टर तो हैं लेकिन वो अपने कैरेक्टर को सोच भी रहे हैं, लेकिन डायरेक्टर को स्क्रिप्ट के हिसाब से किस एंगल में उसको ले जाना है, कितना उसको कम करना है, कितना उसको बढ़ाना है, ये बड़ी अच्छी चीज राजनीति में है जो वो सारे एक्टर से एक अच्छा काम करवा लेते हैं जी।
राइट। एंड वो नेचुरल था वो, मतलब जो आप लोग का दोनों का बॉन्ड, एक तो सनी और फिरोज का बॉन्ड तो था ही, बट एक जो आप लोगों का लव एंड हेट वाला कि वो आपको ब्लैकमेल कर रहा है, वो भी मतलब इट केम आउट वेरी नेचुरली।
जाकिर सर, मैं पूछना चाहूंगा, मुझे सुनने में आया आपने शायद टोटल सारे सीन्स मिला के 3 दिन में शूट कर दिए थे मेरे ख्याल से, राइट?
अब ये बात भी जो है इन्होंने फैला दी राज इंडी की, वो हमारा मजाक था सेट पे, तो वो 6 दिन उन्होंने मांगे थे।
हाँ।
तो अब क्योंकि क्या होता है कि सेतुपति जो है वो खुद इतने तैयार हैं,
हाँ।
आए हैं सेट पे, बड़े बड़े सीन्स हम मन गो में कर रहे थे। मतलब आप ये सोचे कि जो हमने जो सीन्स किए हैं वो चाहे कितना भी लंबा है, वाइड लगा है तो पूरा एक वाइड हम कर दिया, ओएस लगा है तो सारा एक पूरा सीन हम लोग कर रहे थे। तो एक चैलेंज भी हो जाता है कि नॉन हिंदी भाषी लड़का जो है वो इतनी मेहनत से अपनी डिलीवरी कर रहे हैं, तो मेरे लिए भी ये चैलेंज हो रहा था। मुझे जो है उनको सपोर्ट भी करना है और मैं भी ना कहीं अटकूं और परफॉर्मेंस में भी धीरे धीरे। तो क्या है कि करते करते वो 3 दिन में खत्म हो गए। मैंने कहा यार तुमने तो 3 दिन में 4 दिन में, 6 दिन का काम 4 दिन में।
अमेजिंग अमेजिंग।
मैंने कहा यार ऐसे
सर
नहीं, वो
सर आपके पैसों का तो नहीं पता, हमारे पूरे वसूल हो गए।
ऐसी वो मजाक वहां पे सेट पे फिर होने लगा। लास्ट दिन जो वो कार में बैठ के फोन कॉल कर रहे हैं, तो मैंने कहा यार कल भी बुला लो। कह रहे नहीं सर आज ही खत्म हो गया, आपने कर ही दिया इतनी जल्दी तो हम क्या करें। मैंने कहा अगर मैं टेक करता, रीटेक करता तो तुम भी मुझे गालियां देते और विजय भी देता, बोले कैसे सीनियर एक्टर है जो भी है। तो अब मैंने कहा यार ऐसी बात हो जाती है तो अच्छा नहीं लगता, जो चीज हो रही है उसको उसी टाइम पे कर देना चाहिए। तो ये भी एक बड़ा अच्छा जोक था उस वक्त कि भैया 2 दिन का ऐसा कैसे दे। फिर उन्होंने मुझे बड़ा अच्छा गिफ्ट दिया शूटिंग के बाद, काफी बड़ा अच्छा खासा, मतलब मैंने कहा चलो कोई बात नहीं। तो दे वर सो हैप्पी एंड एवरीवन वाज हैप्पी। अभी मेरी डीके से बात हो रही थी थोड़ी देर पहले, मैं उनको फोन किया, मैंने कहा भाई यू मेड मी सो स्पेशल। अरे नहीं सबकी आपकी मेहनत है। मैं कहा नहीं सबकी है भाई, सबकी किस्मत और मेहनत से मिलके ये चीज बनी है। तो लेट्स सी आगे चल के और क्या इसमें कुछ हो सकता है, कर सकते हैं, कुछ नया कर सकते हैं, सीजन 2 हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता है, जो भी पॉसिबिलिटीज है। तो हमारी बात हो रही थी तो मैंने उनको खूब कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट किया कि भाई आपने तो पूरे शहर में और पूरे फ्रेटर्निटी में, मतलब फर्जी तो हिट हो ही रहा है और वो फिर जोड़ी का एक विजय और मेरे सीन्स स्पेशली लोग बात करते हैं।
Exactly. And coming back to Bhuvan, when there's my question is to you, when there's a big star like Shahid Kapoor headlining the show, one would assume that the co-actors would get overshadowed. But on the contrary, you were as integral to the plot of the show as was Shahid. And take any review, your name is being taken in the same stride as Shahid. So before you came on board for Farzi, was there any sort of fear or apprehension like this in the back of your mind? And if yes, how did you overcome it?
No, yeah, there was no fear to overcome. I'm going to be very honest. Just for the interview, I wouldn't want to say that I was scared or nervous or anything. I did feel that, I was out of preparation because I come from a schooling where I really prep for a part.
Right.
I don't just walk on the set and I do whatever's been offered to me. But every shoot has a rhythm, every shoot has a sensibility and a pattern to shoot.
Right.
But individually, I never felt nervous or the need to. Then I feel that actors are not doing honesty to their job. फिर वो तो character बन ही नहीं पाए ना, actor ही रह गए अंदर उसमें डरते जा रहे हैं तो.
Exactly. Yeah.
तो वो कोई डर था नहीं और राज और डीके और शाहिद भाई भी मतलब they are very welcoming and warm. तो ऐसा मुझे कभी फील नहीं हुआ. प्लस मैं कुछ काम कर चुका हूँ इससे पहले तो मुझे इस तरीके की नर्वसनेस कुछ भी नहीं होती थी. हाँ, ये फिक्र जरूर होती थी कि यार जिस डिग्री की केमिस्ट्री है वो बाहर आएगी कि नहीं आएगी, बस इतना होता था. और वो मुझे लगता है कि होना भी चाहिए क्योंकि हमको अपने जॉब को और ऑडियंस को ग्रांटेड नहीं लेना चाहिए जी. और ऐसा फ्लैश मिलता नहीं है दैट इजीली दैट यू कैन टेक योर टीथ इनटू. और अगर आपको ऐसा इफ यू गेट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी लाइक दैट एंड इफ यू आर नॉट बैंकिंग ऑन इट देन देयर इज नॉट गोना बी अ बिगर फूल देन मी.
And my question is to Regina. You since you mentioned it before now that you worked with Vijay Sethupathi in a rather beautiful and heartwarming film, and interestingly, you two essayed husband and wife in that as well. But in Farzi, you guys play parents, but the dynamics between your characters are very away off. So of course, since you guys have acted together, there is familiarity. But having said that, since you were reuniting directly after that movie, was it disorienting to fit into the mold of these characters, considering that the parents that you play in this particular series are on the brink of separating? And of course, what was your approach towards your character?
I think as an actor, it really doesn't matter what your last film with the other actor is or was, I don't think those are limitations one should anyway put on themselves. And all that it does, I think, when you work with someone previously is you tend to understand certain cues of theirs, so then reacting and everything else becomes easy. I wouldn't say it helped or took away anything from the acting bit of it, but the comfort level of having to play someone who is like this, I think it definitely does come because I understand this person as an actor. You know, also it was very interesting to see Sethu, like Zakir ji was saying, it was very interesting to see Sethu learn his Hindi lines because when, the main difference between shooting that and this is the language.
Yeah.
And the language is huge, right? Because we do a lot of sing sound over here in the north and not any of that in the south. It's all dubbed. Okay, so him learning his lines and spending the amount of time. So when we did our Tamil movie together, all of us would sit and do our lines and talk about the scene and then, figure what we're doing where, how, and all of that. But with the Hindi, I could see Sethu putting all his effort into the Hindi lines and making sure he gets it right. Because, we do shoot like one entire, shot and then the master and then we go into cuts and all of that. Right. So very interesting to see him get into the skin of Michael from the language perspective also. Right. And we share a good rapport. We're friends as well. So I think that it really doesn't matter what your last film or show or whatever, or the work that you did with your actor was. It really is about the now.
Right. And what was your approach towards the character? How did you approach it? In what perspective? How did you go through it?
I have played a mother now, and when I played Rekha, I had played a mother once, and that was in Mugir. Now even in Jabaz as well. But it didn't take me too much time to get into the skin of a mother and someone who's trying to fight the fight and with her husband at the same time trying to keep everything civil. It was very interesting, especially working. I mean, Raj-DK pretty much, I sat with DK throughout the shoot and we sat, discussed the lines, discussed her character, discussed where she came from mentally. What the relationship, because you see the relationship in the middle, like you are sucked into it in the middle of everything. So what is it that, where she comes from and what does she really want from this whole thing? So I think it was mainly the conversations that I had with DK and then sat and figured it out for myself.
Right, and it came out very naturally. It came out that your character.
Yeah, the courtroom. The last courtroom scene is
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Thank you.
It was
Thank you.
heartbreaking also, and it was amazing, and it was very heartbreaking as
Yeah, it was pretty. It was actually pretty fun shoot as well that day. In the sense, like it was very hectic.
right.
So yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Coming back to Bhuvan, your comic timing in the show was on. So, considering that you have done only one comedy film that was Bang Show, how are you able to evoke that side of yours, that too so subtly? I mean, is humor an inherent part of your personality, or was it something that you had to adapt while prepping for your character? And also, how was the experience working with Amol Pal?
Bankshoot is not the only comedy film that I've done previously. There have been a couple of other projects, which is Romance Favor. I've played a few comedy parts before. I don't know if I'm the right person to say if I'm funny in life in general or not, but I don't know. Probably people who are around me would know that. मैं कैसे बोलूँ कि यार मैं बहुत मजाक हूँ, मैं बहुत funny हूँ. ये तो बहुत अजीब हो जाएगा.
Right, right,
So, but yeah, it does come naturally to me. It does. In general, also in life, I like to keep people around me happy. I want to make them smile. It's just that for sure is a part of my personality. Otherwise, I don't think so I would have been cast for the part in the first
right,
place.
right.
So that I feel, yeah, it does come to me naturally, but no specific preparation in terms of comedy as such. I did have to prepare for the part because I sound a little different. I'm not a Bombay person. I'm a Delhi guy,
Right.
so I had to work on the accent. The most famous abuse of the show, which has gone viral. That's not how people abuse in Delhi. So I
Yeah.
literally had to get it right. So I would go down and probably hang around with people and say exactly the gali the way they used to use amongst their friends. तो वो सब चीजें थोड़ी छोटी एलिमेंट्स थी दैट आई डेफिनेटली वांटेड टू गेट राइट और मुझे बहुत
Right.
थोड़ा टाइम मिला था यार यतमन्यु आई गॉट वेरी लेस
I
टाइम बिफोर बिकॉज आई वाज शूटिंग and it got here. And working with Amol Palekar, was a great experience. He's a veteran, he's a stalwart, he's a sweetheart. We used to hang out after shoots every day, and we had so many conversations. Amazing, so much to learn from him.
Right. Okay, so that's it from my end. Thank you and congratulations once again for Farzi. And we are eagerly looking forward to season 2 of this show. Please bring it soon. And we are excited to see
Thank you.
it takes the story from season 1 to season 2. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yatamanyu.
Spread the love.
Yeah.